Welcome. Today we are going to be talking about contributing to Project Discovery. We're going to talk about how you can make your own template. Full disclosure, I'm not a great template writer, and by not great, I mean I haven't written one yet. But the first thing I'm going to tell you is something I've told you before, and that is a thing called templates.nuclei.sh. And templates.nuclei.sh is this. And what this is, it's all of our templates available in one place. So here's all the public templates. This file tree over here is same as the one on GitHub, basically, for templates. And you can look up specific templates and you can check them out right here. And if you really want, you can give a target up here and you can scan and you can run it against that target. We're gonna give this AI a little test. This AI has been trained to make templates. So let's do it, let's generate it. You have created a template and you have decided you want to add this because you've tested it. Now to test it, you would run this against both a target that is susceptible to it as well as a target that is not susceptible to it. So you prove that it knows when it's correct and it knows when it's not correct. I don't have anything Drupal to run this against personally, so I won't be able to validate it, but that is an important part of the process. You have to validate and you have to ensure that it works, and you include that proof of concept. So you would run it, you're like, I know this is susceptible, run it. I know this is not susceptible, run it. And if you've got a positive and a negative result, then you're good. I will say down here, this is one matcher. One matcher is usually not enough. In fact, we usually recommend that you do two matchers because one matcher can be matched for a variety of reasons. Now, is this enough? I mean, that's a pretty long string. It's wild. So like it's possible that it's okay, but you know, I'd say that like even here, like a second matcher is usually preferred. And a lot of times you could do matchers like status code. You could do matchers like you can use DSL helpers for your status codes or for your matchers. There's a lot of different things, and that's all in type. And if we go to the docs, yeah, matcher type. So status, size, word, regex, binary, DSL, XPath. And in this case, it's funny, word, it went for that whole string. You could have done a regex looking for that appearing somewhere else too, but since it's right in the body, like that's pretty straightforward. But yeah, these are all the different types of matcher types that you can have. And again, it's always best to have two matchers. Show that again real quick, the helper functions. So yeah, these are all the helper functions, these things that you can use in your matchers if you want. And again, matchers, several different types. If you're doing DSL, we got you with helper functions, several JSON prettifies in here, JSON minify, line starts with, regex for sure. All right, so let's say you need to save this. Let's take this here and we're gonna do this old school. We're gonna copy that, and we know that we are going to be contributing that to GitHub because that's where you contribute things. So now that you've got a template, imagine in this scenario, you've got this template that you made and it works. You've checked it against at least two sources, one that works, one that doesn't. Well, then you're gonna head to our GitHub. So this is the Nuclei templates Project Discovery page, and this is all of our templates. You'll notice these folders here are pretty much the same as these here. So to contribute a template, first you have to write it, obvs. It always says, hey, check and see if there's an existing template out there already. And the one that we just created in here under my templates is a Drupal one, Drupal 10.1.2. So let's actually pretend like we're gonna submit this, which we're not because we didn't verify it. We didn't like change a thing about it. But let's head in here and see if we can find something about Drupal. Got it. We looked, it doesn't exist here. And again, it probably doesn't because this CVE came out today. So look at the existing templates. Yep. Look at the existing templates in GitHub issues and pull requests section to avoid duplicate work. Is there already an issue for it? Is there already a PR for it? As you see, we got 62 open issues right now. Let's click into the issues. Let's look at Drupal. Nothing here. Let's look at pull requests. Let's look at Drupal. Nothing there. Cool. Let's go back and back and back and back. And once more, here we are. Take a look at templates and matchers guideline for creating new templates, right? So this is the templating guide, and this is the unique template matchers in the wiki. We'll click in to take a look. Template guide, we were looking at this before. It's YAML. What are the details? Does it have all of this? You're checking. It's got the metadata it needs. There was the matchers guideline, right? Unique template matchers, most significant component of the template. Since Nuclei prints results based on what we define in the matchers blocks. Weak matchers result in weak templates that produce false positives and false negatives, which we really want to avoid. As much as we need to avoid false positives, definitely got to avoid false negatives. To write it with unique matchers, we must keep in mind, consider number of matchers and type of matchers. So here, matcher do's, use the matchers conditions, use multiple matchers, using a request condition, and then matcher don'ts, don't use a single matcher, like I said before. Don't use only a status matcher if you're like, it returns a 200. Lots of things return 200s, y'all. You know, you got to make sure that if you're doing a status matcher, it's got to be paired with something, and input data as a matcher. If you put the data in and you're getting it back, if that's the only one, especially, that's not great. All right, ideal matcher block. This is what they say. Look, there's a status code. There's a word match. Does it have application JSON in the header? A response string. What's the unique string you get from the response body? These three things with a matcher condition of and. Fantastic, right? So making sure that you are paying close attention to what it is you're expecting to get from these requests and these responses in order to allow you to effectively make a good template, because you don't want to make a template that just doesn't work, you know? That's not good. All right, so let's go back. Step one of contributing, of course, fork the repo. Creates a local copy. Keep a reference to the original project in upstream remote, but you click fork over on the project. And this is then, you can also clone it, go into the folder that's just been created, and then you can add the upstream to it, okay? This is, if you've already forked it, update the copy. So git remote update, git checkout main, git rebase upstream name. So you need to pull, you know, or not pull, you need to rebase with the upstream version so it's up to date. After that, you're creating a new branch. The name will identify the issue. Git checkout B, template branch name. This one would be like, you know, Drupal Vuln 2023, something like that. Create the template and commit it. Create your template, which we did earlier. Add the files and folders needed, and after you've made changes, add the changes you've created to add the changes to the branch. Git add, just add all the things. And notice that all of this is in command line with Git. There's an easy way to do it, and I'm gonna go over that as well. So if you're doing it locally, you're gonna have to do all these like things. If you have a GitHub desktop, you won't necessarily have to do that. You can do all that in the GUI. But we're gonna talk about doing it all right in GitHub. Did I say GitLab desktop? GitHub desktop. I did it right, don't worry. It's fine. All right. To commit, give a descriptive message. Obs, please put a good message. It's not new template. Added a Drupal template that checks for blah, blah, blah. This is CVE 2023 dash blah, 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 stuff like that. And in fact, to be honest, since that came from a CVE, I'm just realizing, the CVE is not available yet, but If it comes from a CVE, normally you name the template after a CVE, but in this case, it's just Drupal 10.1.2, yada yada. After that, get push to the template branch name, and that's to your copy of the repo. That's to the forked version that you made. Brendan O'Leary has a great video, 5-minute hacks, and this 5-minute hacks video tells you all about this process. Essentially talks about how to make the template, what you need in it, and then this is one of my favorite things. He uses Pi to talk about the way that you are contributing. So fork, take your fork and grab the pie, pull it to you. You pull a version of the pie to you, push the pie to your version, and then you pull the pie back to where it was. The pull request, and this is something that always confused me because I used to work at GitLab and we had merge requests, which is I'm requesting that you merge this in, but with GitHub, it's I'm requesting that you pull my version into your version. Like, would you pull this back for me? I still like merge requests better, but that's fine. The world's on GitHub. I get it. All right. Set up the pull request. Make sure you fire up your favorite browser, not your least favorite browser. And everyone's favorite browser should be Arc, which I'm using. And you're gonna click pull request button. And inside of there, you provide a name, description. It complies with project standards, otherwise feedback is provided. If you need more help, how do you fork? How do you clone? What do I do? These are the tips. Again, the matchers is what makes a template good. So you need at least 2 matchers, and don't match words in the URL because that can lead to a false positive very easily. And especially short words that could be found anywhere. That's a problem. So let's look at getting into it. What do you say? So we need to fork it. Right here is fork. Let me zoom in a little more. So let's fork it. Create a new fork. Owner, Metz and around. Repository name, Nuclei templates. Perfect. Forks are named the same. You can customize the name if you want. Copy the main branch only. Create fork. All right, this branch is up to date. Yeah, because we just forked it, but this is mine. Right? Metzing around, Nuclei templates. Forked from, that's our upstream. And now if I go to my profile and I check out my repositories, right here is Nuclei templates. All right. So I said earlier, there's you can do this all locally if you want to work locally, but we're just going to use code spaces. So I'm going to hit period. And there it is. Thing here. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And let's see, this is for Drupal. So let me think about where this would go best. I think maybe we're just gonna go to vulnerabilities. Drupal. Man, actually that's perfect. Vulnerabilities in Drupal. And here we need to put our template here. So vulnerabilities, Drupal, and I'm gonna click add a folder. It says, what do you wanna name it? I'm gonna call it Drupal or Drupal. 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 Let me double check what our situation is. Poison web cache. Let me see if that makes sense with what they named it or what they said. Web cache poisoning external service interaction. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with that for right now. And then what do we do? Paste it. Bam. So name, author, severity, reference, info. This is really not enough info. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add some more info. Let me look at this. So we need a description key here. So let's go ahead and go description. And I'm gonna pull that description from this because why recreate the wheel when someone's already done it? So now the description's here. It gives a better description of what is going on in this template, what's happening. And I'm going to, this is here. And the good thing about using code spaces and just working online, because remember, this is just straight in my browser directly from GitHub. Over here, source control, it says, hey, there's some pending changes. And it's like, yeah, of course there are. So we need to click this. That's staged now. This is Git, you stage it, right? You create a commit, and now when you're doing it on code changes, again, it immediately pushes it to the main branch. Appreciate you, thank you. Commit and push happens in the same move when you're working code spaces. If you were doing it in a terminal, you know, it's git add dot, and it adds all the changes. Then it's git commit -m, type your message, git push, and it pushes it to the repo, to the upstream. All right, so commit and push, so the message is commit and push, and again, this is pushing it to my fork of the repo. This is not pushing it to their repo. That involves a pull request. Commit and push, boop, boop, boop. We were in here in this VS Code looking thing. We're gonna get back to the repository. Remember, we are looking in HTTP. We are looking in vulnerabilities. We are looking in Drupal, and there's our Drupal poison web cache. Yep. And if you click pull request here and click new pull request, the base project here, project discovery, head repository, you can do it right here from your thing. And you'll see it shows you the change one file, it's main to main. But what says, hey, you want to create a pull request? But before we do that, while we're here, I want to look at issues, and I want to create a new issue, because let's say you have a template contribution, and I wanted to go through some of the information that we want to see you putting in here for your template contribution. So first off, basic information about the template, including the reference, meaning a website that talks about this vulnerability or this issue. Templates without any reference take more time. So if you can include a couple websites here, and remember, inside the template, you've got a reference already. You've already got one. And from here, that's their reference here that they gave us, right? This exploit database can be a reference as well. And then if you find it anywhere else, like 2 or 3 is good, because it makes it so that people who are validating these and approving the PRs can see that this is not just, you know, crap that you made up, you know? The template, include the template in between the code block shared below. So you have to put the whole template right in the code block so that it shows up as a code block. Include template results if available, or redacted valid response snippet of valid match. So like if for some reason, like the response needs to be, includes like sensitive information or like a key or something like that, you can like erase that part in like a photo editor and like upload a result here, or even just the text of it if you need to. Example response helps us update the matchers as unique as possible, because again, they're gonna look at the matchers, they're gonna be like, all right, this is one matcher, we need to update the matcher so it's as unique as possible, because if there's any possibility that it could return the matcher when it's not positive, that leads to a false positive, of course. So we've got this. We've got a title. You go ahead and give a good title up here. But really, like, I just wanted to show you this because this is the type of information we're looking for. So let's just look at issues here. Home router KO wireless manager panel. You can get into this wireless without a login or password. 2 references. Here's their template. Thank you, Andre Luna, for your contribution. Tells us severity. Here's your references, metadata. We got a get method. Does it redirect? True. Max redirects 1. The matcher condition down here. So it does the method to get all this stuff, then it goes into matchers. If you're seeing this in the body, if you're seeing both of these, that's bad. If you're getting a 200 status, and especially for like logins, a 200 status makes sense, you know? So making a PR and an issue and linking them can be really helpful. So making the pull request, which we already have open here. So you'd be like, yep, create a pull request. You click that, and then all of this information, it says, hey, this adds a template to check for Drupal possible web cache poisoning in version 10.1.2, if I remember correctly. Yep. And then what's your information? Explain. And then you'll see in the PR, it has a bunch of information too, right? This doesn't fix, this doesn't add, this doesn't update. Have you validated this template locally? Which again, we really like do that. Don't not do that. You know what I mean? So please validate your templates locally. Please run it against at least one target that is gonna show the vulnerability and one that's not. Additional details. Do you have screenshots? Do you have the match response data? Do not include vulnerable host information in pull requests, right? That's sensitive information. It's not obligatory, but it can speed up the review process. And if you want it to go in and you want it to be fast, then like that's a good idea. And then this is for y'all. What are these things that we have going on? Like join our Discord if you want some help, yada, 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 yada. Things like that. So there is information in here, but having an issue is also helpful for sort of like, you know, it's nice to have both. It's not required, but generally speaking, people will do it. But yeah, once all this information's in, create pull requests, and then they'll talk to you about it. And that's contributing. That's really the whole process. It's not